Hey guys and Geigers, Patrick here. Very tired looking Patrick. I was very surprised to learn today of Umezz passing. And I just thought I'd make a very short video telling one story that I have and also sharing some of the cool Umezz books that I have. I'm just going to start off with some of his earliest ones. These are reprints, of course. I wouldn't have the originals. I'm not made of money or anything, but very cool. What I like about this particular comic is, though he was quite young when he did it, he's already showing plenty of skill. He's got a lot of different original kind of takes, original kind of things going on. I think I've talked about some of these in my Guys and Guy videos, but these are very cool reprints. They did a whole series of them. I snagged them all bit by bit at different used bookstores. This is pretty cool. It's a ghost story, and just really like these reprints. And I'd gone through them looking for kind of hints of the kind of markers that kind of show what kind of work Umezz would expand on. This is a nice mother-daughter story, and the sequel, very cool. And that kind of comes back. He often has like mothers and daughters in his horror stuff. Here's two classics. This is the Crimson Spider or Red Spider, and this is Snake Girl. Both horror classics. You know, he's got the classic Scream. So before I show you my few other things, I want to tell about my first encounter with Umezz's work. And I might have told this story before, but I think it's a good time to kind of revisit. So when I first moved to Japan, and this is a long time ago, about 30 years ago exactly, I was staying at my boss's wife's place. I usually stayed at my boss's place. I had a room there. And she had one of the Umezz collections, the one called Kyofu, Fear. And in that collection, there was a story that was based on fairy tales, but they were turned into even more gruesome tales than the pre-Grimm versions of these fairy tales. And for example, there was one, I think it was the Hansel and Gretel one, where the kids find a house made of candy in the woods, and so they start eating the candy. The basic story behind this, I mean, the main thing, the thrust of this story is that there is a father who wants to draw children's books for his daughter. He says he can't draw well without reference, so he basically murders all these children and uses them as reference for his stories. But in this particular Hansel and Gretel one, the one girl is basically forced to keep eating and keep eating and keep eating until her stomach basically explodes. And that was the first time in my entire life that I had read a comic that made me physically ill. Like I really wanted to puke when I was reading, when I got to that point when her stomach kind of explodes. And it was such like a new kind of reaction for me that I decided then and there I was never going to read Umezz again. And so I closed the door on my on my Umezz reading for close to 20 years. Isn't that crazy? And then one of my mentors, Mr. Hashimoto, who is also I've interviewed on this channel, he asked me to give a talk, which led to me eventually digging deeper into Japanese comics and comics history, and also the creation of this channel. And the talk that I chose was the history of Japanese and US horror comics. And I was doing kind of a comparison, like an overview. I definitely bit off more than I can chew because I figured I was going super niche because I didn't know that many horror comics when I jumped into that topic. But wow, was I off the mark when I thought it was niche. It was so wide and deep, and I really had to dive into the whole kashihon rental comic not genre, but like medium, which I knew nothing about at the time. And so as a result, I also had to revisit Mr. Umezz. And the work that I revisited was the Floating Classroom. And this is my little bunko-sized French version. And the reason that I love this Floating Classroom series, okay, is that, first of all, it's pretty violent and graphic, but it was published in Shonen Sunday, of all places, you know? And then every time these elementary school kids, every time they're faced with some incredible, like, otherworldly challenge, like giant beetles or etc., you know, they use things they learned in elementary school classes to overcome. And I thought that was just, wow, if only elementary school classes were that useful, that would be so amazing. Also, I like the fact that the kids can't depend on any adults because they've all lost their damn minds. Like all the teachers that they like that did not lose their minds are killed by the ones who do lose their damn minds. And it's just like, wow, adults are crap kind of, you know, attitude that I loved about it. And so I was a convert. I was reborn as a Umezz fan. I didn't go crazy, but I did start to pick up books that I ran across in my used book travels. And two books that I picked up ended up leading me into one of my published research papers on mermaids, and that was these two books. Okay, this one from 1965, Hangyojin, half fish person, or half fish man, whatever. It's Gilman, basically, you know. And then this one, Ningyo Monogatari, so the story of the mermaid, or basically it's a version of The Little Mermaid, set in Japan. But this is 1966, so a year apart, both dealing with fish people. Both have, this has extreme horror elements. This on its own also has some scary elements and some serious drama here. Both have like merfolk tropes that occur in other media as well, but just the contrast of the styles and everything, just a year apart, you know, and this is more of what we consider the true Umezz, but he was also drawing these beautiful girl, and you know, it was in this somewhat idyllic situations, but it's just when I was thinking of like what topic I should do, and I had both of these books, and I was also looking at Takahashi Rumiko's Mermaid Forest, and you know, Mermaid, you know, that series. Having this to kind of compare, I thought really inspired me to push on with that research. So thank you, Umezz Sensei, your work and your your continued kind of expansion of the form, and exploration of your own like artistic expression. Just very awe-inspiring. And I'm sorry that I locked you in the vault for 20 years. But anyway, check them out. Floating Classrooms is probably going to be one of my favorites. I also have, you know, like Orochi and a couple of other ones that I've started, that I haven't finished, but are worth checking out. So just watch out for that one story in the Fear collection. Okay, that's all I can say. All right, see you next time.